Hello, everyone, and welcome. This is Susan Lopresti, and as always, it's my honor to have you listening here today. I'm very excited about today's episode because I have a very special guest with me today. But before I introduce her to you, I just want to say that I am not a medical doctor. And by all means, if you are not feeling well, I urge you to seek the advice of a medical professional. But what I do, the purpose of my podcast is to offer you alternative ways of healing. Our bodies can heal themselves from many ailments if we give our body the chance to heal. And like I said, that's the purpose of my podcast, to introduce you to these healing modalities and to inspire you to maintain good health by implementing a healthy lifestyle and to incorporate some of the healing modalities that I've introduced you to so far. So before I introduce Tina to you, I just want to give you some background information on how I met her. So her name is Tina Carver, and I met Tina on a networking Zoom meeting. And we were put into breakout rooms where we shared our businesses with each other and just to network and get our message out to different people. So Tina told me that she was with a company that created a patch which activates our stem cells. I didn't know much about stem cells, so I looked them up on Dr. Google, and this is what I found. Stem cells are the body's raw materials, cells from which all other cells with specialized functions are generated. Under the right conditions in the body or in a laboratory, stem cells divide to form more cells called daughter cells. So what exactly do stem cells do? Sometimes they're called the body's master cells, and stem cells are the cells that develop into blood, brain, bones, and our body's organs. They have the potential to repair, restore, replace, and regenerate cells, and could possibly be used to treat many medical conditions and diseases. The most common way to harvest stem cells involves temporarily removing blood from the body, separating out the stem cell, and returning the blood to the body. To boost the number of stem cells in the blood, medicine that stimulates the production would be given for about 4 days before this process starts. So the benefit of stem cells treatment provide fast recovery. It also increases the functionality, the range of motion, and the flexibility of the joint, muscle, or part of the body that was damaged. One of the amazing benefits of stem cell treatment is to help patients restore their injured body part to the way it was prior to the injury. That all sounds wonderful, doesn't it? And it truly is. And I was immediately interested when Tina told me what the patch was all about, because I have a friend of mine who lives in my building. She's 88 years old, and she drives all the way upstate New York to go get stem cell shots, I believe is what she says, that are injected into her. And the cost is hundreds of dollars. And of course, it's not covered by insurance. I always thought that it was worth it for her to do that because this woman is, like I said, 88 years old. She's as sharp as a whip, and she's so together, and she's healthy. In fact, she's a therapist, and she's still working at her age. And that's how I know her, because she's actually my therapist too. So like I said, she's knowledgeable. She's up on all kinds of current events. Anything you talk to about health and wellness, she knows all about that. She's super smart. She's very progressive in her thinking. And I see like this tremendous difference in her when she goes for one of these treatments. So what Tina was offering on this call was an option that was so much less money than what my friend Carol was paying. And I was so intrigued because I saw what stem cells were doing for my 88-year-old friend that I bought the patches. But I actually didn't buy them for me. I bought them for my partner because John has diabetes and he also has neuropathy issues. And he was always tired. So when he got home from work at night, he would have dinner and pretty much pass out on the couch for the rest of the night. And then about 11 o'clock at night, he would wake up, and now he was wide awake because he fell asleep for a couple of hours. So his sleeping patterns were off, and then he was exhausted in the morning. And I just felt like, why not just give it a shot and see how he would do? So he actually started on the patches. May of 23 will be a year that he's been on them. And what I've noticed is a very big difference in his energy level. It's so much more improved than it was last year when he first got started on the patches. So now he comes home from work. He's no longer exhausted. He doesn't fall asleep after dinner. And a lot of times in the evening, especially now that the weather's getting nicer here in New York, we'll go take a nice walk. We live right by the beach, so we'll go down by the beach, or we'll go sit on his boat and we'll watch the sunset at night. And we could have an enjoyable night because he's not exhausted. That certainly motivated him to continue to take the patches. So I can't speak about his diabetes improvement because he has this sweet tooth. And as much as I try to encourage him to eliminate sweets, well, you know how that goes with men, right? So anyway, but I do see a world of difference in him. And so I decided, you know what, I'm going to try the patches for myself as well. So the reason why I tried them was because I was very intrigued with Tina because she looked so young. And I was really surprised when she told me her real age. Now, I'm not going to reveal her real age to you, but if she wants to, she can. But what she told me that since she was using the patches, she noticed an improvement in the appearance of her skin, such as less wrinkles. And who doesn't want less wrinkles, right? So, I mean, that right away perked up my ears, less wrinkles. And then she also told me that her hair doesn't grow in with that gray intensity as it once was. So that was another win-win for me. So I started using the patches in November of 2022. So it's been about 6 months for me, almost 6 months. May will be 6 months. And what I noticed since using the patches is the same thing with the gray hair intensity. Do I still have gray hair growing in? Yes, but it's not as white and it's just not as intense. That's the best word I could think of to describe it. It actually blends better with my own color of my hair. So I feel like more of my own hair color is growing in and less of the gray is growing in. And I'm hoping that as I continue to wear the patches, it will get less and less. As far as the wrinkles on my face, I do notice that the deep wrinkles, especially around my mouth, because I smoked up until I was 30 years old, and I probably started smoking when I was 17. So I'm not proud of that, but I did quit when I was 30. But I believe that's why I have so many wrinkles around my mouth, and they're not as deep as they once were. So they're a little bit less noticeable, which to me is a big improvement. I'm happy with it. And I hope that as I continue to see more and more improvements. I always had an abundance of energy, and I still do. And I'm like the Energizer Bunny. So I feel like the patch is definitely helping me with that as well. So I'm really excited to have Tina here with me today because I want her to explain the history of the company and the technology that's behind these simple little patches that are making such great strides in the wellness arena. So Tina, thank you so much Welcome to my podcast, Susan Lopresti, Wellness, Mind, Body, and Soul. And I want to thank you so much for taking the time to be with me here today. So, Tina, let's start by telling me a little bit about yourself, like where you come from, your background, and how you got started with this company.
Sure. Well, first of all, I want to thank you, Susan, because when Susan and I met at an online networking event, and that's where I think Zoom is just amazing. That was one thing that pandemic made positive, was we all went to Zoom and can meet people from all over the world, actually. And Susan and I were like sisters the second we met. We bonded like
A
so
lot of
much.
things in common, right?
We just had a lot of things in common, when you connect with somebody. But so you said a little bit about my background.
Yeah.
Okay, so just a little bit about my background. I've been in the working world since I was 13. My dad died at a young age, and I had to go sell Tupperware door to door. That's when you could send little girls door to door, and you were really
Yes.
safe. And so, and I always had a good work ethic, but I always and I've always been very factual. But with that being said, I sold real estate for years, and as we all know, that's controlled by the economy. And it was actually in 2021, a friend of mine came to me that's a nurse, and she was in a company with me. It wasn't my real estate company, but we were in a direct sales company together. And she said, I'm not going to be in the company with you anymore because I found something I'm very passionate about. And she's not wishy-washy. She's very bold. She's very honest and about things. So she's been a traveling nurse for years, and she would run out of meetings with hip pain and joint pain, slip disc from her back. And she said, I finally found something that helped. And she shared with me what I'm going to share with you today. And I said to her, I'm happy to try the product because I'm all about natural health. I had a friend of mine that was and is a chiropractor, and I came to him with some issues many years ago. And he told me he was a mortician before he became a chiropractor. And that drugs had kept him in business for many years. So that was a big, bold statement for him to make. So when my friend explained what I'm going to explain to you today, I was all in just to give it a try. And kind of like you, Susan, the first word that caught me was age reversal. This isn't about anti-aging, but this is age reversal. And so us all being women, just, we'll try anything, especially for me, if it's natural. What Susan had mentioned as well that I want to say is stem cells are very pricey, and I heard about them years ago. But stem cells are an injection that's going to one area. And what I'm going to share with you today isn't. And so that, I kind of back up there. The age reversal and the price of stem cells floored me. So when she told me that about this patch that I'm going to share with you, that it activates all of our stem cells and it repairs and it renews. There's a peptide that's called GHKCU. And it's the peptide in our bodies that it's proven science that that's one peptide. If they can stimulate it, it reverses age. Well, there's nothing out there that stimulates it except this patch. It's scientific, it's proven. There's over 100 patents. And I'm all about research and science. I have to know what I'm putting on me. This is a non-invasive patch with, it looks like a Band-Aid. Yes. And it's made up of organic crystals and salts. And you take it off just like a Band-Aid and you put this on your body. Well, we all know that vitamin D from the sun, it produces vitamin D. That's why we're told to go outside a good bit, because it's natural. Well, same with this patch. Our bodies is made up of heat and light. And when this is put on our body, the heat from our body is activating this patch, and all it's doing is causing a wavelength. It's called photobiomodulation. It sounds like a fancy word, but it's just creating a light wave in our body. Stem cells are the only cell that can be renewed and activated in our body. And this affects everything in our bodies. Like, that's why when we age, we don't heal as quickly from a fall, or we get these diseases that come up because our body hasn't been producing stem cells. we don't produce half of them by the time we're 30. We produce practically nothing by the time we are 60. And I don't mind sharing my age. And people used to ask me my age all the time, and I just thought it was so rude. But I'm fine with it now because I'm 63. And I'm not going to say years old. I am 63. That's what my age years say. But really, I will tell you, from wearing the patch, I feel like I did in my 40s. I have more energy than I've had in years. I've taken naps my whole life because I'd be tired in the afternoons. I couldn't rejuvenate. I have autoimmune disorders, and I wasn't feeling that. So we all are made up of different stem cells. We all know there's no two people alike. So I tried this for my friend, and I didn't really notice anything the first month. Well, it takes 3 to 6 months to activate our stem cells. They will tell people that when they even get injections, to give it some time. However, I was in the process of packing and moving out of state and doing a lot of stuff, and people were asking me where I was getting all this energy from. So I kind of took a step back, and I thought, it has to be this X39 patch that is the only thing out there proven in the world to activate our stem cells. It's putting fresh stem cells on old stem cells, and that by that it's activating the stem cells. And so I have way less wrinkles than I had in my 50s.
No wrinkles. No wrinkles.
Just way less. And during a hectic move, people were telling me I looked so good. What was I doing? And I just kept thinking, oh my goodness, it's this patch. Like, it really works. And so I was thrilled about it. So I naturally started sharing it with other people. And I had told my friend, I'll be a customer, but I will never become, we're called brand partners in the company, because I had so much other things going on in my life. But I was so excited about it, and people were asking me that because of the way the system's set up in the company, I could share with them about the patch and share with them the opportunity, and go from there.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
And I
great.
have so much energy. I just can't tell you. And I'm just going to share something really quick. It's just a story.
Okay.
December 30th, I fell down the stairs backwards. And once I hit the top of the stairs, it was nighttime, and I just lost my balance and I fell backwards. Well, I literally could not move. And my partner he thought I probably broke every bone in my body. I just could not move. We could barely get me to the car. I didn't want him to call emergency, but it took me about 30 minutes to walk to a car that's probably 3 minutes away. I just hobbled. And so I was at the hospital a good part of the day, most of the day, and they took x-rays. They put me in the room where you see the boards for broken backs, and picking me up and taking me over. And I was already prepared not to come home. Well, they took x-rays and they didn't find one broken bone. I've had osteoporosis since the age of 40. I weigh 100 pounds. I have osteoporosis. They said, let's do a CAT scan. They said, we don't know what happened, but we'll just go do a CAT scan. So they did, and they said, you have not one broken bone. They were in shock. So I knew what it was. There's just no other explanation. And because there are other patches, I was able to repair and heal a little bit quicker. The X39 again takes 3 to 6 months to activate our stem cells, but there are other patches that helped with the pain and the inflammation and other things that were going on from that fall. And for me, that's a miracle story.
Wow, that really, really is. That's incredible that
It
not
was
one
incredible.
broken bone.
They were all very dumbfounded by it.
Who came up with this idea to use these patches? And tell me about the company and,
Sure. Well, it's a scientist. His name is David Schmidt, and he was working on a project with the Navy SEALs about, may not have it exact right, I believe 18, 19 years ago. And they asked if he would create something for their men and women that would keep them energized and alert, that wasn't a drug that they could get addicted to.
Oh.
So he went to work on creating something for them. And he knew there was something very powerful about in his research. There's tons of research, and I'll share a site with that at the end if people would like to go on there.
Mhm.
And the first patch he created is called the Energy Patch. And that patch, keeps people alert. You don't feel like the caffeine effects or anything like that. Your body's just alert. So he went to work. He had an idea that there must be a way to activate our stem cells. He was very interested in how our bodies can produce things naturally. He created other patches along the way, but the technology of this X39 to promote our stem cells took many years for him to develop and get it figured out. And
Right.
he's an amazing man that you can read about and how he came up with the process of this.
So now from that one patch, he developed different patch, the same patch, but to do different things in our body. So like what else, for example? Give me an idea.
Well, there's 13 patches, including this X39 patch. And as I've mentioned already, it takes time for stem cells to turn over. So he's created a patch to help people sleep longer, a patch for inflammation, which you can see in my fingers. I have arthritis. See all that?
Yes.
And
Yes.
I have that in my hip and in my spine. I don't have any pain in my spine or my hip at all anymore. I still get it in my fingers, but it's not severe where I couldn't pick up a pencil or anything. It's still there, and I get pain from time to time, but they have immediate pain relief patches.
Oh.
Yeah, which are amazing. And those were the patches I used when I fell. There's a patching protocol book that many of us purchase that will give specific areas for these other patches if someone would like to get some immediate relief for other things going on in their body. There's a patch for anxiety and nervousness. It's called a Nirvana patch. And patches for the autoimmune system, patches that help with all kinds of different diseases. And like Susan said, we're not allowed to say treat. It's not about curing and it's going to take all this away. That we're told we're not to say that, but I do go by facts and patents, and this is proven science. It's not, it's just proven. So there's a lot of different patches for different things going on in people's bodies. There's a glutathione patch, which I love because it pulls out all the poison toxins in your body. I've seen a lot of relief for people with that, and for myself from colon issues. And it's just, so it's very interesting reading, but there's much more. And he's a couple of aromatherapies sprays that he's come out with. I have not tried those, but I've heard wonderful things. One is that you go to sleep, and one is for that extra energy. I've heard good things about it from everyone.
I wear the X39, but if I wanted to try the one for autoimmune, I switched the patch, right?
Oh, you're never without the X39. This is the anchor.
Oh.
This is the anchor, because you want to constantly be renewing your stem cells. You want for the rest of your life to be renewing. That's where the age reversal comes in. So this you always want working for you. I think of it as a sister patch.
Oh.
So there may be a day that I said like after one has been sick, or once someone's been on antibiotics or some kind of chemotherapy is hard on people, or we have a lot of poison toxins in our body.
Yes.
There might be a certain day of the week I said like to have this detoxification today. They have a patch that's a carnosine patch. It helps with your heart. It helps with circulation, many good things in that patch. They have patches to help with people that overeat. That suppresses their appetite a little bit. And, they do many more things, but it's just if somebody wants, I never want to confuse somebody. This is the patch that's going to go in there and do things for you. But just like how people might get a headache or a migraine or be sick, or they have inflammation in their body, or autoimmune, things going on in their body, there's specific patches that will be more potent with the patch. They're just specific for that.
I got you. Oh, okay. So I have to go back into that catalog and research a little bit further, because I have autoimmune conditions.
So I didn't know that.
Yes. So I may need to complement this patch with that one. I have a thyroid condition. I have Hashimoto's disease, and I don't know anyone really who's had a thyroid condition that was able to reverse it, but it's my goal. I don't know. Because I've been taking thyroid medication for, it has to be 20 years already. And I know it has to be doing something that it shouldn't be doing in my body. And I would love to get off of this thyroid medication. And so I think I need to try that autoimmune patch.
I think so too. There's many different packages, and this is always the base. And
Right.
you design a few of these other patches. We're told to never confuse people, because this is going to work the second it goes on your body. You're probably not going to feel anything for a little while, but it's doing something inside. We can't see inside our bodies, right?
Right.
We can't see our organs. So that takes a little bit of time. Some people say they sleep amazingly the first night. I don't have sleep issues, so that wasn't something that affected me, but I agree with you. I think that we live in such an amazing time with our health, and that this is even out there for us. It's nothing we're putting under our tongue. We're not bringing in anything inside of our bodies.
Yeah.
And that excites me, that our own heat from our body can elevate and activate things that are needed in our body.
So now at some point, I guess you became a believer because you personally were using the patch. And so then you decided that you were going to start introducing it to people and basically having it become your business. So
I did, and it shocked me. I've been in real estate for 33 years. It's the first year I haven't renewed my license.
wow.
I love helping people, and I'm not dishing real estate. It's just different time in my life, right? I've shared with my age, and I just thought it became a business naturally, because people that were becoming a customer, and I almost like to say client, because I take it seriously what's going on with them. They were sharing it with their friends or their family, or a lot of them with their husbands, or a husband with a wife. So it became a natural business for me. And I'm having fun, because I talk to people in so much pain in so many different areas, and different diseases, different cancers. And like I say, we're never allowed to say it will cure or treat, but this is something that's proven science of what it's doing for people. And there's a lot of testimonials that I will share at the end for you and many people to go to look at. There's a lot of photos of before and after.
Well, yeah, I was on a couple of videos, like when I first signed up for John, and where people were giving their testimonials about aches and pains, and also another woman saying about her hair not being gray any longer, and the wrinkles and the body aches disappearing. And so I was already hearing a lot about the testimonials, and it really was intriguing, because I am like you. I am all about natural healing, and I really honestly believe that we can heal. We are our own worst enemies a lot of times with our health, because we are eating fast food and processed foods and not moving our bodies, and just we're always stressed and we're always on the go. And so I really do believe that it's our right to age gracefully and age in a way where we're really going to enjoy our midlife years and older. I mean, what's the point of living if you're not going to be able to enjoy it? And the way to enjoy it is when you're healthy, because without your health, what's the point, right? So I am like a really big believer in this. And so has your business taken off? Are you successful in this? Like, it's something that you share with a lot of people? Because maybe there's people on here that are listening that are looking to make some kind of a supplemental income. I mean, I haven't looked into that aspect of it myself yet, but it's always in the back of my mind that, it's another avenue of introducing my clients to. So have you found it to be successful for you as a business?
I have, and I love direct sales, so I do a few different. If I find something, this is what I decided this year. When I find it seems like I become a customer of something. This is my only health product that I would ever be a part of. Seriously, um, I like all of a sudden I get excited about it. That's what we do, and we start sharing. But yes, in answer to your question, yes, I have, and I I'm just passionate about it. And Susan, it could be hobby money. It could
Yes,
be all the way into a take covering all your bills to all the way covering more than enough of your bills. And I think with anyone, and even you, I just have to think what is my purpose for doing this, and what type of money do I personally want to make? And there's no right or wrong answer for anybody, but you get out of it what you put into it. And I'm not going on a street corner looking for clients. This is just something that
right.
gets repeated, or I share with somebody. And we all see people out and about that can barely walk. And like you mentioned, David Schmidt just felt like we do not have to age not gracefully. And just because we're a certain age doesn't mean we're old and have to act like that. And he
Right.
had the same passion. And yes, so it's whatever somebody would like to create. The company offers many great tools to give you ideas and help with that.
Okay, so we didn't mention the name of the company, which is LifeWave, right? Where can people find you if they're interested in learning more about the patches or getting in touch with you? What's the best way, like on social media, or
Oh,
how?
that's a wonderful question. I'd like to leave with you a website for people to go to just to look at all the science and technology and testimonials and about David Schmidt and his background, and everything you would want would be on that. And then I'll give you my information, and that's called startx39now.com. That won't have my information on it, but it's a great tool to find anything you'd want to know about the company. You can find me on social media, Tina Carver. I'm great on LinkedIn or Facebook. Either one is fine.
Okay.
And we all that, even a customer who just happens to refer can make a little bit of money, but you won't find me on LifeWave. I'm lifewave.com/Tina Carver. But if you want to connect with me personally, I'll just share with you information and answer questions. That's all that.
Okay, that's
needed.
So Tina, do me a favor, give me the web address and everything, because when I put this episode out, I'll put it in the show notes. I'll put even your email address, the website that you gave me, and any other pertinent information so that it's in the show notes. I think it's great. Everyone should try at least the X39. I'm going to definitely get the other patch now that you say that, but I already see a difference with the X39 in the last 6 months. So I'm excited, and I think that we need to let people know and get it out there into the world. And that was the purpose of this podcast today.
And I'm excited for everyone too, that we don't have to feel sick.
Right.
And something there for us to help along with what we might be ailing with. So that's
a natural product. Because if I ever put daytime television on, every single commercial is about a prescription medication.
I know.
And every single medication has a list of side effects. And I'm thinking, like, do you really want to go on this drug and risk a stroke? All these side effects. So how safe are these drugs? They're not safe at all. And so I'm all about natural. I believe that we can heal ourselves in a lot of ways, especially if we're proactive with our health.
That's what I think too. That's a good point. Be
Yes.
proactive.
Yes, you can't wait until you get sick to decide you want to get healthy. While you're healthy, you need to be doing the steps that are necessary to keep us healthy. And I feel like this patch is exactly what that whole concept is all about. Stay healthy. And if we could reverse aging even a little bit to slow it down, who would not want to do that? In my
That's what
mind.
I think. And I never used to have, I haven't had long hair since I was 12. I didn't even think it was this long. So,
Well, that's another thing that I do want to mention, because I have a thyroid condition, and one of the symptoms of a thyroid condition is that you lose your hair. And normally when, before using the patches, when I washed my hair, I had clumps, like balls of hair that I was pulling out of the drain. It was horrible. It was stuck to my skin and everything. And I noticed that has also subsided, not fully, because I think we all naturally lose hair when we wash it, but not to the extent that I was having balls of hair. So I feel like it's improved that as well.
mine too. And I have thyroid disease too. And I do take medication for that. I haven't felt inclined to back off of that medication at
Right.
the time. However, and we do naturally lose our hair. My hairdressers told me that. But I
Yes.
have so much growth, and I had several bald spots back here that I would tease and comb. They're not there. And you'll start experiencing little itchy bumps, and I call them hair bumps. All of a sudden, you'll sprout a seed of hair.
I noticed that up front, in the front, like I'll have little hairs growing out. And I'm like, look at this. I have like short little hair because I think I'm growing hair.
You're
Like,
growing hair. That's
yes.
one of the biggest things for men, more so than women, but I've had a lot of hair growth, as you can see, and I don't have bald spots in the back of my head.
Yeah.
That's
So
exciting.
another great thing. I mean, it's a win-win all the way around. And
It
the wrinkles, like we want to get rid of the wrinkles.
I know. I was like, oh, I could duct tape on a Zoom, my neck. But we're doing this naturally, right? Duct tape's not
Yes.
natural.
Yes. I mean, you could go for a nip and a tuck, but I would rather wear a patch and see an improvement that way and know that I'm doing it the safe way, and it's so much more affordable than going for the nip and the tuck, right? So
I agree.
yeah.
And we don't know what's going to come out of that nip and tuck.
So Tina, I just want to thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you taking the time to share with my audience. And if my audience has any questions, I'm going to put all Tina's information in the show notes so you can follow her and learn more about LifeWave. And thank you so much.